Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet audio and video guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Hello, this is Hal Coleman, and welcome to another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mike Stewart. Mike, you're here today?
Absolutely, Hal. I'm here.
Well, you're coming in loud and clear from Nashville, Tennessee, and got a great surprise today, Mike. I've got a guest on here who's been a friend of mine for quite a few years now, although we never see each other in person, but we correspond, and I'm excited about having him here. Dan Moreland, the publisher of PCT Magazine. Are you here with us, Dan?
I am, Al. How are you today?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm trying to continue to survive the coronavirus self-imposed by my kids and under penalty of never going out again, exile that I'm in. But I'm surviving. And, you know, I'm excited about having you on here because you've published a few of my articles over the years. You've given me a stage there, and it's been quite an honor and a privilege to be on the pages of your great magazine. And your magazine has a lot to offer our industry. You do through your magazine. So, you know, what I'd like to do is just talk about that. If you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit how this magazine came about, your background, and how this thing developed.
Well, I graduated from Kent State University with a degree in news journalism. And when I came out of college, I wanted to be a sports writer. And I applied for a bunch of positions around the country, but wasn't able to secure a position in the sports writing field. And I saw an ad in a local paper for a B2B publishing position with Pest Control Magazine, which was headquartered in Cleveland, and applied for that position and started working for Pest Control Magazine, which is now PMP Magazine. The gentleman who ran that business, Richard Foster, ended up buying his own Pest Control magazine. He bought PCT Magazine from the Scherzinger family in 1980 and offered me a position as editor of the publication after he purchased the company the magazine 40 years ago.
So you've been with that magazine 40 years.
Yes. From the very beginning, from the time Richard purchased the magazine, and now his son, Chris Foster, is president of the company and runs it day to day. And how far does this magazine reach out? I mean, it's global. It's global in scope. I mean, especially with the advent of the internet, we have 20,000 plus print subscribers, but then we reach all around the globe, both digitally and we have some international subscribers in print, but it's primarily digital. So we're able to reach all around the globe. Well, that's amazing. Wow, what an amazing thing. Well, you know, I excuse me, I owned a pest control business for 18 years. I'm in my 47th year in the industry, but
I can't tell you how many years it's been that, I sit around and I wait for that magazine to arrive. And just like when I was a kid, it was all about hunting and fishing magazines. When my magazine came, I just went off and kind of immediately isolated myself to go through the magazine. And that's what I've done with PCT Magazine for many, many years. There's just so much value in there for the pest control operator and the technicians. And could you talk about that a little bit, about all the things what a resource this magazine is?
Yeah, that's what we take a great deal of pride in, is being able to, serve all of our readers with, hopefully valuable information that helps them succeed. They're putting the blood, sweat, and tears into their business every day. We kind of view ourselves as being a resource for them to hopefully, enhance their ability to grow their business at a faster rate. So we have our entire staff. Jody Dorsch is the editor of the publication. Brad Harbison is the internet editor. And each of us, Jody and Brad, have been with the magazine 20 years each. And so we meet, every month, and we talk about what's going to be included in the content of the magazine. And so, to a large degree, it's seasonal in nature. Like, we cover the seasonal pests, ideally a month to 60 days before that pest becomes, a prominent part of the day-to-day business of our readers, where we'll share the latest insights about a particular pest category. But then what we also try to do in the magazine is provide some valuable business information that isn't pest or technically oriented, that will, whether it be marketing, in your case, where we've published your articles about marketing, because you've had that experience of running a pest control business. You know what it takes to successfully market a business. And so we tap into experts like you to share that with our readers. And then we also try to do some real solid news reporting and analysis, because we think that the fact that we've been covering the industry, in my case 40 years, and in Brad and Jody's case 20 years each, we feel that we have that historical insight that maybe is helpful to our readers to provide them with the appropriate context for any particular topic that may, develop, whether, for instance, like COVID-19, the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. While it's different, we went through a downturn in the market during the Great Recession a number of years ago. So, we learn from those experiences, and I think we can offer some context to our readers by sharing what we've learned during that period and what PMPs have told us that it helped them get through those kind of challenging situations.
Yeah, and there's inspirational stuff in there too. You feature business successes, outstanding technicians, and I always enjoy reading about other people's successes and how they arrived there. So, and you're also a resource for people who want to buy or sell a business, aren't you?
Yes. The other thing that we try to do is, and I often say this to young editors who join our business, because we have titles across multiple markets as a business, but there really isn't any reason for any publication to be boring, because as you know, Hal, that if you involve people, people do interesting things. They do strange things sometimes. They do fun things. They do inspirational things. As long as you have people involved in any business and you're willing to kind of explore, how they've succeeded or how they, the mistakes they may have made along the way, you can produce an interesting publication. There's really no reason for any publication, from my perspective, to be boring. So we include some fun stuff. We have a title, and we have a department in the back of our magazine where we highlight individual PMPs who are doing interesting things. Like for our most recent issue, we did a profile of I think Geico had a commercial that they aired on TV with Rat, the rock group Rat. And so, we wrote, Brad Harbison wrote a fun story about that. He enjoys rock and roll like you enjoy music. He enjoys rock and roll. And so he took that assignment on and wrote a fun piece about that. And he also does the Tech of the Year Awards, and we do the Leadership Awards, and Jody does the Top 100 issue every year, and where we, in May, for instance, this month, where we profile businesses, who are in the top 100, or for those folks who are aspiring to get to the top 100. And so, we really do try to tap into the expertise in the market, both the important information, but also the fun and interesting things as well.
Yes. So, yeah. And as a matter of fact, speaking of Brad, as he grows older and matures, he's going to just naturally switch over to country music.
I don't know about that. He loves the big bear bands.
No, he shared that with me, that he I decided I got shut in here, and my wife said one day, she saw the country music guy. I forget who it was who was doing a little thing on Facebook. She said, "You ought to do something like that." So I sang a song one day and put it on there and got tons of response. And I said, well, I'll try to do 30 songs in 30 days. So I'm up to 33 now because people seem to really enjoy it. It makes me feel like people tell me it makes their day. And when somebody tells you that, how can you not do it? How can you not make somebody's day if you have the opportunity to do that? So I've kind of created this thing now that I just keep doing it till I one day run out of songs, I guess. But,
well, that's one thing I admire you. One of the many reasons I admire you is because you do bring a joy to what you do, and you and that comes through in those those daily songs and the background you provide about them, the historical context. I also find interesting and entertaining. So I'm a fan of yours.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. But so what are you going to do one day when how are you going to depart from this magazine one day?
Well, the one thing, what's interesting about the pest control industry is I don't think people ever get it out of their blood. I don't know if that's, I think that's probably been your experience is, once the pest control industry kind of touches you, you kind of, you're always associated with it. And so I think I'll always be associated with the pest control industry in some way. I don't have a lot of hobbies. I've always been, I've loved journalism and I enjoy working. But I think at some point I'll be, probably donating a bit more time to some volunteer work. I'm involved in my church pretty heavily, and my family. I have a couple of grandchildren and two daughters. One who was just recently married during the pandemic, and so we devote a lot of our time to our family. So I imagine I'll spend more time with them as well.
Did you get to go to the wedding, or were you isolated?
Well, it was really. I told my daughter and her husband that they went through with they decided to go through with the wedding, and we had to keep it under 10 people for the actual ceremony. They delayed their reception till later in September, hopefully, but we went through the wedding, and then we went over to their house and had a picnic. Each family sat at a separate table, and the wedding photographer came, and so we have a really interesting photo of our families socially distanced, and then our daughter and our grandsons came over, and our son-in-law's brother and parents and his wife, his brother's wife, came over, and they put her and her and his brother put together a nice video of all the different folks. They invited people to send video clips, and then they showed the video clips of all of their friends and family wishing them well. So it was certainly a different experience, but it actually was quite memorable. And I think it'll probably go down in history as one of the more interesting weddings and more joyful get-togethers in our family's history.
Oh, I'm sure it will, and a lot of good is going to come out of this. I think we've been doing family birthday parties that way, virtually. And it seems like we get a lot more people to attend when we do it virtually. than when we do it live. But we're learning new communication skills and new appreciation of family time together. And my wife and I were talking about that. I said, we maybe after this is over with, we might not change the way we operate now, because we've learned to be a lot closer and appreciate things. And our grocery bill is a lot less than what it used to be. I'm not going out. And
hey, Hal,
the funny story, my daughter got married about 8 years ago, and my son-in-law, it was an important anniversary of his mother's passing, and he really wanted to get married on that day to honor in memory of his mother. She passed away at a young age, so that date fell on a Monday. So they got married at 12 noon on a Monday. And I tell people when they complain about, a lot of people I hear them talking about how big their liquor bill was and their beer and wine bill was for their wedding reception. I say, oh, no, you ought to try just having it on Monday at 12 o'clock. Because I said people came to it and they had to go back to work. So that's one way to save on things, is to have it Monday at 12 o'clock.
And now here's a word from our sponsor.
Google Pest Control Marketing. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Did you hear that? That is a jingle. But more than that, it is an audio logo and what I call a marketing earworm. But that's a bug, that's a worm you want in your local market on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and podcasts like you're listening to right now. Yes, you should do a podcast as a PCO, but we'll talk about that another time. You want your market singing Google your name, what you do, and your phone number. Simple, but it works. If you want to cash in on this marketing bonanza, go to pestcontrolmarketingjingles.com to learn more. Or just call me, Mike Stewart, at 770-826-3662, or call Hal Coleman at 770-993-0004. And we would love to show you how to do what we call search and call advertising with earworms. And oh yeah, it works on that old-timey technology of radio and television. Why don't you call us today and learn more?
Google Pest Control Marketing. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Hal and Dan, this is Mike. I'm the co-host on this podcast with Hal. Well, I've got an online question, Dan, that I want to know a little bit. How is the online version of the magazine different from the print, and how's tell me more about the online. I know you guys do a podcast for PCT Magazine, so tell me a little bit about your online world and how does it support the print versions that you send out. You said I believe you said there was 22,000 people getting the print version. So how does all that work together in this day and age?
Yeah, what's interesting is when the internet first came into being, and you began to see publications offer a digital version of their publication, they kind of separate them into print and digital. And what we do is what we like to do is talk about the market. Really, every reader wants to read, wants access to their information on whatever platform is most amenable to them. And so that makes, to a large degree, the pest control industry is still a print-centric magazine. People like to get the print copy in the mail, like Hal was saying. And I felt the same way. I used to get Sport magazine when I was a teenager. And as soon as it came in the mail, I'd run off to my room and spend a couple hours reading the issue. And I do think there are still people in the pest control industry. There's a large number of people who like to hold the magazine in their hand, take it with them, because a lot of our readers are 1 to 5 person operators. They get the magazine. They're working a route oftentimes, a number of these owners of the businesses. And so they take it with them. They read it at lunch. And then they also we'll tear out parts of it to use for training or educating some of the other staff members. Then there's other folks who we have other readers who say, all I do is read it online. And the digital version, we have one pest control operator who says he reads it when he's flying. Like that's, it's his time on a plane where he has a couple hours where there's not a lot of disruption. He'll read the magazine online, download it, read it online, and enjoy it that way. And so we really view it from a market perspective. We have, close to, we have, like I said, 22,000 readers who read the magazine online at any given, in print at any given time. But then every day, folks are accessing our website and reading the news that Brad is posting every day on our site. And as a result, you're seeing lots of enhanced activity on the site, and also folks are reading it mobilely on their phones. So we've had to develop a platform for each of those, so our readers can read it online, they can read it on their phone, they can read it in print, and then we have a digital edition that we send out an email and let folks know that, when the issue goes live, that they can access it that way. Now, we also have folks who request both the print and the digital edition. So, we have folks who, a large number of readers who also are reading it both in print and then also want to have it online as well. So it's really an overall market that we're trying to reach, as opposed to a print market and a digital market.
Sounds like all the bases are covered. And so what's tell me a little bit about your podcast. That's something I'm interested in. We tell now, Hal taught me to call them PCOs and WCOs. I think you used a different term a minute ago, but we tell individuals that podcasting and blogging is a huge opportunity for findability. How have you found that to be for PCT Magazine, having a podcast?
Yes, that's the same for us. I mean, we do have, obviously videos and podcasts are becoming, we also have, our audiences, our primary audience are pest management professionals in the industry, owner operators, and technicians as well. But then we also, our other audiences are, association representatives, the trade associations. We also are advertisers, our business partners in the industry, and the major companies and the smaller product suppliers who really make it possible for us to do what we do, because our publication is free to any PMP who wants to receive it. What supports us is the advertising support. We deliver the audience, but our advertisers, they kind of pay the freight by supporting us through their advertising. So we also have business partners. Those business partners also want to reach the marketplace through podcasts, and we want to share that information with our readers. So we work with our business partners to produce podcasts on various business topics or product categories that help get that deliver that message to the marketplace and inform our readers.
Al?
Yes, I mean, you even know so much more than I was even aware of, and so it's. What's the one thing you would like for the PCO out there to know about you and your magazine? If you had them all in front of you right now, tell us what you would really like them to know.
Well, it's funny, that you asked that question, because one of the major misperceptions about our business is that, people receive the publication or access the publication online or receive it in their mailbox, and they think, we're this huge publishing company. But the reality is that we employ about 100 people at our company across 6 business 5 or 6 different business units that specialize in particular aspects. We have recycling magazines, we have lawn and golf magazines, we have multiple segments of markets that we serve. And so the PCT Media Group really consists of 6 to 8 full-time folks. Jody and Brad, I mentioned before. We have Mike Michael Kelly and Mike Zavril are our sales staff. We have one art director, Andrea Vegas, and then we have a production person, Lori Scala, who places the ads and whatnot. And then we have Lisa Lupo, who edits our QA magazine, which is a sister publication of PCT. And so now we have support personnel throughout the company, but those are the folks who are fully dedicated to our market segment. And so what I would communicate to folks in the pest control industry is our business really isn't that different from the vast majority of pest control business. We're, who are 1 to 5 to 10 person operators. And I think that's one of the reasons we relate to them so well. It's a small group of people who produce the publication. And then we have freelancers, of course, we work with, but that they can pick up the phone and call us and talk to any of us. They can call us directly and we'll answer any question they have. And if there's any way we can help them, we're more than happy to help them.
Why don't you give out the contact information so people can write it down and they can get in touch with you?
All right. Well, the easiest way is by email, and it's really quite simple. For myself, it's dmoreland@gie.net. If you want to reach Jody, who's editor of the magazine, it's jdorsch, DORSCH, @gie.net. And if you want to reach Brad, our internet editor and managing editor, it's bharbison @gie.net. And then Lisa Lupo, who's the editor of our QA magazine, it's llupo@gie.net. We also have a toll-free number, 1-800-456-0707. And you can also obviously communicate with us through the website by just clicking on the appropriate location of our website and sending us a question, and obviously via mail as well. We're located in Cleveland, Ohio, right near the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. So we're right in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio.
Good. And you guys planning on being at Pest World in Nashville this year, I guess?
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, it's actually very convenient for us because, we've been to Nashville a few times for the convention, and we'll probably be driving down this year. So, our plan is to be there, and we always look forward to that event because we get to see people face to face. Because oftentimes, like in our case, where we don't get to see each other, face to face very frequently, at a trade show, it's nice to be able to put faces with names.
Yeah, I look a lot worse in person than I do on the page.
You know what, Hal? Well, Hal, here's something I've learned in the background here, being Mr. Online. Dan, I don't know if you know or listen to some of our shows, but me and Hal have a little rift. He's Mr. Offline and I'm Mr. Online. And I had no idea that you were GIE.net or GIE Media. And I'm seeing your picture here, Richard Foster, Chris Foster, and you. And I'm looking at the markets, and my goodness, you guys are into all kinds of amazing things here. And so this is the PCT Magazine is just one piece of the equation that our audience needs to learn more. But you need to go to GIE.net and look at what these guys are doing. There's all kinds of opportunities to learn more. I was looking at your website, the Learning Center, the Training Center, all the videos, monthly webinars. I mean, you guys are very active online and very impressive. And so I'm so glad you're a guest on the show today. And Hal, even though you're Mr. Offline, there's a lot of online stuff going on here that our folks need to pay attention to and see that there's possibilities. I was just looking at the products page here on PCT Online, and it's just amazing how many things that me not being in the pest industry, but I know our listeners need to be aware of. So so glad you were a guest today. And Hal, do you want to ask Dan some more questions, or what do you guys want to do here?
Oh, Dan, it's just been a pleasure and an honor having you on here, and I've learned a lot too, and I know that you have, like I say, I knew you had so much to offer, and that's why I wanted you to be a guest and talk about the magazine. So it's just been great having you on here, and I hope to see you in Nashville. And if I can ever help you in any way, you can always reach me at 770-993-0004 and Mike at 770-826-3662. And we're always here for each other. So once again, it's been great having you on here. And you have any last things you'd like to say to the folks?
No, I just it's been a privilege to be on your program, and it's very kind of you to invite me to participate. And as I've said, I've long admired your career and your multifaceted career. And thanks again for your time. And if there's anything we can ever do for either of you, we're happy to help. So have a good day.
I appreciate that, Dan.
I want to say one thing to Dan before he goes. My heart goes out to Cleveland, Ohio, because that's where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. And Dan, if you ever go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and look in the one-hit wonders, my band is on that wall. Pac-Man Fever. Yeah. So
what's it called?
We were Buckner Garcia, and our hit was Pac-Man Fever. So that's how Hal and I met years ago, is we have a huge music history between the two of us. Hal's doing all his songs, but we go way, way back on music. And in fact, this is the 40th anniversary of Pac-Man. And so when I didn't realize you were in Cleveland, I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame several times. I've been down to the Flats. The Abbey Road on the River Beatle Convention was there several years. And, Cleveland evidently means pest control and rock and roll.
Well, I'll have to check it out next time I'm there. We've been there several times as well, and it's one of the iconic buildings and tourist attractions in Cleveland. So I'll have to check it out.
Cleveland has a couple of things that are really special about Cleveland. Hal, I got to put this on the podcast. Is number one, that's where A Christmas Story was shot, the famous movie. Downtown, and I played there in 1976 at the Holiday Inn on Euclid Avenue and 22nd, or across the street from Cleveland State University. So 44 years ago, I was playing in a hotel there, playing music. So
while I was drilling holes in concrete foundations and doing termite treatments.
Well,
boy, I wonder which one of us was having the most fun.
Let me tell you something. This is what I remember. The news, Dan Webster was the nightly news guy in Cleveland in 1976, reporting the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Wow. That's another song. That's a Gordon Lightfoot song.
I know, because I remember it being on television, and then Gordon had the hit record several years. So I was there that November that the Edmund Fitzgerald went down in Lake Erie. And I remember the wind coming off that lake was pretty cold for an old Southern boy. So God bless Cleveland.
That's great. What a great story. Well, listen, guys, Dan, it's been great. Mike, as always, it's been great. And folks, we thank you for listening to this episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in iTunes and on your phones, and in Stitcher on your Android. But more importantly, go to our website, pestcontrolmarketingpodcast.com. Subscribe to our email list to always be notified of new episodes. You're never going to want to miss what we got coming up next, and you never know what we're going to be able to do to help you with your pest control marketing.